All right, we're back. I think this is my week 12 podcast. Can you guys believe we've been doing this for 12 weeks? It's incredible. Today is June 3rd. It's a Tuesday, and we're officially in June. I feel like May flew by. And guys, I don't know if you noticed, but our numbers have taken a giant leap. When I was doing these podcasts in April, I promised you guys that we'd make a 20 to 30% increase just naturally from April to May. And that happened. Okay, early on in April, end of April and beginning of May, we were doing as a partnership like 800K, 900K, maybe $1 million a week. This last week, we had our biggest week of the summer, and some of that was due to Memorial Day, but just consistently, our numbers have gotten a little bit better, and we did over $1.55 million in service revenue as a partnership. So collectively, we've gotten way better, and those numbers should continue to ramp up and increase for the entire month of June. I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about habits. I'm going to talk about systems, obviously, give some big shout outs, and then talk about our plan for the future. So, I've got some really good stuff. Thank you guys for all being here. And seriously, say this every week. I'm going to say it again. I'm proud of each of you. This is not an easy job. It's a hard job, but it's less hard when you're surrounded by people who are doing it with you. When you're surrounded by people who have the same goals, who want to work hard, who want to push, who want to go big, who want to go above and beyond and do something different. So, I love being a part of this team. I'm super grateful for each of you. I'm here in Fort Lauderdale today. It's raining cats and dogs, so shout out to those guys for knocking in the rain. I'm going to be working with those teams this week, and then excited to see a bunch of others of you in the next couple weeks. I love getting to travel around and train and see everybody, and I'm proud of each of us. So, got some good stuff today, and thanks for tuning in. Okay, first things first, I want to share some shout outs on the day. So we are at $69,000 as a partnership already today. Chase Flynn is at 4,400 on the day. Now, Chase yesterday did over 10K, so he is on a heater. I'm really proud of Chase. They have a giant team in Chicago. Chase continues to push hard, and really, he's having his best personal summer ever. Congratulations, Chase. Spencer Alice, or Ailes, I'm not sure how you say that, in Columbus at 3,300. He's our top rookie and number two overall. Owen Gams, 2,800 here in Fort Lauderdale. Spencer Anderson in Memphis. Spencer's having his best summer ever as well. He's at 2,400. Caden Taylor in Chicago. He's at 2,100. Skylar Crowther here in Fort Lauderdale. This guy can bench press a small car. Skylar, I'm excited to see you this week at 2,100. Emmanuel Aragon at 2,000. Carson Compton, 1,800. He had a giant week last week. Guys, a lot of good things going on right now. On the week, we had our teams do really well. San Diego 2 is our number one team as far as total revenue, and they were up there on RPR, and I'll talk about that. But San Diego 2 did 197 in service CV. Columbus 1, you were right on their tail. Now, these guys have the same number of active reps right now, both have 26. So to see them as close as they are, it's going to be a fearsome competition, and I'm excited to see things keep going. The biggest difference, to be honest, between Columbus and San Diego was not the effort stats. The effort stats were really similar. It was the fact that San Diego had a 5% better sales to service ratio. Had Columbus had the same sales to service ratio, they could have beat them. Now, San Diego achieved that service ratio by having more same days. They had almost 20% same days. So, this is a big reminder to each of you team leads. You need to prioritize same days. If you prioritize same days, your team will be able to service more accounts and put on more revenue. Okay. Every 5 to 10% additional same days that you get will bump your sales to service ratio 1 to 2%. So make that a huge priority. If you need my help, please reach out. If you need Demery's help, please reach out. We want to make this a number one priority, get you guys as many same days as we possibly can. And again, the goal is to get each of our teams up to 50% or more. I set that goal early on, and now we have over half of our teams at 50% or better. So we're doing really good. Chicago won. They're number three. Chicago won. Sales to service ratio has been just a little bit of an Achilles to heel to you guys the last few weeks. As we continue to improve that, you're going to see that go up and up. Lots of things to be proud of, guys. Same days have gone up. RPR is doing really well. I got to give it up for my Memphis squad. There's 5 reps in Memphis is also. It's a small team, but they averaged 11,000 in RPR this last week, which is just monstrous. Congratulations. Our 24-month and 12-month percentage has held strong with over 2/3 of our team, actually probably 3/4 of our teams, under 30% 12 months. That's huge. Over half of our teams are above 60% on 24 months. So big reminder to everyone, okay? You get an 11% penalty, not on your service revenue or your revenue counting for benchmarks, but on your pay on those 12 months accounts. So you want to avoid those 12 months accounts wherever you can. Now you get up to a 14% bonus on the 24-month accounts. So if I'm you guys, I'm always anchoring at the 24-month and then dropping down to 18-month when I need it. And I'm trying as hard as I possibly can to avoid those 12-month contracts altogether. Now, once in a while, obviously, you're going to have to sell one. You have a tricky customer, you have someone who's only willing to do it for the trial period, whatever it is. It's okay to sell these 12 months. It's still better to sell a cheap, very cheap 12-month than it is to lose a sale. So sell the 12 months as much as you need them, but avoid them wherever possible. Shoot to have at least 60% of your accounts on 24 months, and then another 20% to 30% on 18 months. And that's a great product mix, and you'll be very, very happy with it. Um, Things to consider and be mindful of, especially as we get into June. And I'm going to talk more about this, but we have to continue to increase our effort. We're approaching the summer solstice in the month of June, which is the longest day of the summer. Okay. It's when there's the most sunlight. And every day after that in June, there's going to be just like a couple minutes less of daylight. And so, guys, push your evening knocks later and later. And the more that you're prioritizing that evening time, the better off that you'll be, the more earnings you'll have, the more revenue you'll put on. Donnie Moser shared a stat yesterday where we're servicing like 15% of our total revenue as a company after 8 o'clock. Now that's just 1 hour out of the day. And most of you don't even knock after 8 on Saturdays. So it's 1 hour out of the day, 5 days a week, and we're getting 15% of our total revenue from it. That's crazy. It's the best time to knock. I say this every week, and I'll remind you guys again. If I could only knock 2 hours a day, it would be from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It's the best time of day every single day. So make sure that you're locked and loaded. Make sure that you're pushing as late as you possibly can. We have a few of our teams who have really early end times. I'm going to call out San Diego 1. I'm going to call out Nashville. I'm going to call out Memphis. Okay, you guys are all doing awesome. Those are three really good teams. But if you can push your average knock times just 20, 30, 45 minutes later, it will increase the volume pretty significantly. I got to give it up to our team South Bend 2 here. This is John Martin. This is Mateo. This is Thomas Coates. This is N3. These guys have a 9:15 average last knock time as a team. That's remarkable. Congratulations to them. Columbus 1, 8:42 p.m. average last knock. That's remarkable. Kansas City 1, 8:44. San Antonio 8:53. We have people putting in some serious effort, and I'm really proud of you guys for that. On a rep standpoint, Jack was our number one rep again last week. Jack had $43,000 in service revenue, 91% sales to service ratio, 1,300 average contract value, only 3% 12 months, 24 month contracts. He had 65%. Adam Tillman had 24,000 serviced. Carson Compton, 24,000 serviced. Chandler McElmurray, 23,000 serviced. John Martin, 21,000 serviced. Alex Moises, 21,000 serviced. Taylor Clark, 20,000 serviced. Okay, those were our top experienced reps, and everyone did phenomenal. Now, you guys will notice on this stats sheet that I shared, and you might have to look at it because, again, it's kind of hard, I know, when I do these podcasts, but there's an active CV column here. Okay, we're going to start monitoring active CV on a weekly and monthly basis even more. Okay, you only get paid on what stays active. You only get paid on what doesn't cancel. And so, as a sales force, this is one of my biggest goals this year. We have to level up. We have to sell clean, good, quality accounts that will pay their bills. I'm really hoping that as a sales force, we can bump our retention up 5 to 10% this year, have everybody make more money. But it starts with this group here. It starts with the emphasis we put on it. It starts with the focus we give it. Guys, the whole call pilot idea came from the fact that we want to improve our retention. We can't hold our customers accountable if we don't have evidence, if we don't have proof. So use that call pilot and allow the company to then hold your customer accountable. Use that call pilot and you yourself prove, hey, I've explained everything perfectly. I did my job. Let's make this happen. I'm going to start tracking call pilot. And remember that we went live yesterday with the benchmark where everyone needs to have 50% of their accounts on call pilot going forward. And obviously anything prior to that doesn't count against you, but we need to have 50% of our accounts going forward on call pilot. I really believe that we can do that. Okay, that's a very attainable benchmark. And again, this is something that will help our retention. We're going to start tracking this active revenue more and more, and the leaderboard at the end of the year will be based on active revenue. So make that a giant priority. Top rookies this last week. Jackson Smythe in Columbus. Guys, I gave Jackson a shout out in the Pronto, but he did 18K and he only knocked a half week because he had a wedding to go to that was planned before the summer. Jackson, absolutely monster week. I'd love to see you come back and do, I don't know, 25, 30. Could you do more than that? That'd be incredible. Jackson had a 100% sales to service ratio. He did leave just a tiny bit of meat on the bone with a $900 ACV. If he bumped that up another $100, it'd give him another $2,000 in revenue. Jackson had a little bit of room for improvement as well on the 12-month and 24 months, but overall incredibly good with 32% 12 months. Ryan is becoming a very frequent flyer here at the top of the rookie leaderboard. He had almost $19,000 in service revenue, 95% sales to service. He had 79% of his contracts on 24 months. Trevor Roberts, this is a guy who I talked to a few times before the summer, and I'm really proud of him and how well he's doing. Trevor Roberts in Columbus with 15,360. Mark Workman, 15,336. Guys, Mark had nearly a $1,200 ACV. And you can see that he had 55% of his accounts on 18 months. So Mark is definitely trying to minimize the 12 months while maximizing the 24 and 18 months. Nice job, Mark. Jarek Harris with 13,639. Jaden Nieder, I believe this is a PR for the mustache man himself, 13,466. Jaden had 100% of his contracts on a 24-month. Brody Stagner, 12,757. Brenton Little, 10,853. Hayden Beard, 10,083. And then Jacob Wilford at 9,171. Our rookies have gotten better, and every week I'm impressed by you guys. Continue to put forth the effort, continue to work hard. Good things are coming, and it gets me really excited. So, from the stats on to some announcements and a couple reminders, and then we'll go live with some training. Okay, so I have two announcements or reminders, policy things, and then I want to talk about some training stuff, talk about the month of June, talk about what to expect, and talk about how we can get better. So the first thing, and this was announced on the Pronto, so make sure you're on the Pronto if you're not, but we're officially live with the call pilot requirements. So everything resets, so you're down to zero. So anything that you didn't do before Monday doesn't matter. Obviously, if you practice and you did good, it's going to help your retention. And you're also going to be better at it. But if you didn't ever use Call Pilot, you're not going to be penalized or dinged for that in any way, shape, or form. But from Monday until the end of the summer, the policy, the requirement passed down from corporate is that we need to have 50% of our accounts on Call Pilot. Okay. If you have 50% of your accounts on Call Pilot, you're at break even. If you have none of your accounts on Call Pilot, or less than 50%, from 50 to 70% that are not on Call Pilot, there's a $5 deduction. And then from 70% to 100%, there's a $10 deduction. So if you did zero Call Pilot for the rest of the summer, you'd get $5 deduction on 20% of the accounts and a $10 deduction on 30% of the accounts. So deduction wise, guys, this is incredibly minimal. Okay. Incredibly minimal. Worst case scenario, if you go out and you do 300 accounts from now till the end of the summer, and all of them were $10, which they're not. Okay. It would be a $1,500 deduction if my math is right there, which it is. So it's an incredibly minimal amount. If you do 300 accounts from now till the end of the summer and you do zero Call Pilot on any of them, it's a $1,500 deduction. It's actually less than that. It would be like a $1,200 deduction. So it's small. That said, the principle behind it and the reason for the penalty is because Call Pilot is so important to what we're building and what we're doing at Aptiv. We are attempting and successfully changing the game of pest control. We're putting on cleaner accounts than we ever have. We're going to retain much better than we have in years past. We're going to confidently be able to look all of the competition in the eyes and say Aptiv has the best customer base. Aptiv has the most ethical sales force. We do things right. This will do a few things for you guys. Thing number one, it'll help you be able to confidently recruit, confidently, be proud of what you're doing, sleep well at night, like just have peace of mind. Having integrity as a person and as a salesperson is such a huge, important part of what we do. And it inspires you to have more confidence as you go and you put on more and more and more accounts. We want zero discrepancy, zero like confusion between us and the customer. Another thing that it does is it helps you have better retention. Okay. You're not going to have accounts get service that really had no idea what was going on. And then they just cancel a week later and we can't hold them to the contract because it wasn't explained to them very well, or at least we don't have any proof that it was. Every single customer that has Call Pilot done, we have proof. Guys, I get emails from the legal team every day of sales reps. In fact, there was one just a week ago. I won't even say who the sales rep name was, but corporate called and they're like, hey, the sales rep supposedly told this customer that it wasn't an agreement, blah, blah, blah. It happens all the time. I call the sales rep. I'm like, hey, man, did this happen? The sales rep's like, no, I explained to him 3 times that it was an agreement. It's perfectly transparent, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, did you do Call Pilot? The sales rep's like, no. I'm like, ah, bummer. If you would have done Call Pilot, we could go back and watch that video. It's recorded and have perfect proof. No, hey, we did our job. This customer is lying. Hold them to the cancellation policy or, make them pay their bills, stay on as active. But when we don't have that proof, we don't have, a perfect concrete foundation to stand on. The Service Pro welcome letter, it does help. Like it's still a good thing. That's why we do it. But Call Pilot is bulletproof. It's ironclad and it's the future. It will also, again, another positive thing, another positive influence from this. It will make our sales force way more valuable going forward. And I've shared this in previous podcasts, but each of you is a small percentage business owner of Aptiv. Okay. We are invested, we are incentivized into the long-term growth of the company. It benefits all of us. So we want Aptiv to become more valuable and having a cleaner customer base that retains better, that is more valuable, benefits all of us financially. It really does. We're going to grow more. We're going to be able to increase our pay scales. We're going to be able to give out more bonuses. We're going to be able to increase and improve our incentives. Like everything gets better because we start doing Call Pilot. So if you haven't done it prior to today, that's okay. You're off the hook, no worries. But start now and aim to have at least 50% of your accounts on Call Pilot. And cool thing too is I'm going to be able to start tracking this. So I'm going to do shout outs, probably some incentives around Call Pilot. So get really excited about it. That's the biggest, most important announcement, something I really want everyone to lock in on. The penalty, the fee is just to help us be inspired to actually do it. If they don't add some kind of kicker or something, no one pays attention to it and the culture doesn't change. So this is how we shift behavior. All of us collectively have to make that improvement. Okay? We have to. So thank you guys. Your buy-in, your motivation, your excitement around this kind of stuff always means a lot. And I promise, I'm trying to lead from the front. I'm trying to be on the know, on in the inside look so that I can make sure that we're doing things right. And this is something that I really believe is a huge net positive for our sales force. So be excited about it and thank you guys. Now, let's talk about some training and some exciting stuff. Oh, one more thought on Call Pilot before I do that. I've got it written down here. So our partnership on non-Call Pilot accounts over the last month has had a 79.7% sales to service ratio. On Call Pilot accounts, we've had a 90.7% sales to service ratio. So, guys, Call Pilot improves our sales to service ratio by 11%, 12%. Bad at math. Need some more Red Bull. Um, like 11 to 12%. That's a huge, significant increase. The reason for that is the customer is there with you, not with the service pro. So if there's any kind of discrepancy, you can save the account. You can price drop it. You can say, hey, okay, we'll just do 12 months. Whatever we need to do, you can save the account. The service pros aren't as good at that as you guys. They're not sales reps. So your sales to service ratio will be above 90% on any accounts that you do Call Pilot on. That's incredible. Okay, between that and same days, everybody should be happy and everybody should be up. It's a huge, huge net win. Now, I want to talk about the month of June just briefly. When we went from April to May, I told all you guys, hey, the weather's going to start warming up. It's going to rain a little bit less. Your abilities as a sales rep will improve. People are going to start to notice bugs. That same trend carries over into June, but it's even more magnified. Guys, if I'm completely and totally honest with you all, June is an incredible month to sell. And we need everyone to buckle down and rely on their habits. Okay. June is a month where it's going to be hot, it's going to be buggy. The switchovers are going to be good, and you can absolutely crush. Every month, I knocked full time for 8 summers. Okay. And then I've done the whole travel around thing for the last 3 going on 4 years. But for 8 summers, June was my best month like 6 out of those 8 summers because it was when I was still like unbelievably excited about the job. The incentives are good and everybody has the bugs. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal month to sell pest control. So I hope that you guys are all excited. You're going to start to notice that even the companies who typically do a pretty good job that maybe have a little bit of a harder time switching over, their customers are going to start seeing bugs because June is a buggy month. You're going to start to notice that people are out of school, they've chilled out, and they're home more often. So you can maximize those DMs and talk to more people in the morning hours, in the afternoon hours, and especially late into the evening. You're going to notice that the days stay lighter way longer. And again, we're ramping up to the summer solstice this month. So we need to push those DMs later. And as a result, we should sell more. Guys, I'm not exaggerating when I say that in June, we should see another 20 to 30% improvement on our production. Okay. All of you should see a 20 to 30% improvement on your production. If you're like Jack or Alex and you did nearly 150K or more this last month, shoot for 175 this month. Okay. If you're someone who did 100K in revenue last month, shoot for 125K this month. If you did 50K last month, shoot for 75K this month. Everyone should see a giant improvement on their production for the month of June. It is an incredible month to sell pest control. You're going to start to notice that the competitions, the incentives, the tournaments, the hype around the Active Cup, all of that starts to ramp up. We're going to start the Rookie Rampage tournament to see who the best rookie selling for Active is this summer. There's going to be multiple categories, and you're going to be placed into one of those categories, and you're going to compete for it. It is a really, really good month to sell pest control. So be excited for June and set a goal with yourself. Hey, I want to have these inputs that lead me to this output. And we've talked about this before. Goals can be daunting sometimes because you don't control every element of them. Sometimes you work your hardest and you still don't hit the goal. So set input goals. Hey, I want to be on the doors by 10:45. I don't want to quit knocking until 8:45. I want to talk to 60 DMs a day. I want to attempt to sell 1 in 15 DM, whatever it is. Okay. Set those goals that lead you to the output that you want. Set those habits, those standards that lead you to the output that you want. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Now, to wrap up the podcast, I want to share some motivation, some inspiration. I want to talk about the future. Okay. And I have to be careful with this because I don't want anyone to live in the future. I have said this in a lot of these podcasts, but my goal is to help all of us become the best version of ourselves, the best person we can possibly be. And obviously, part of that is the best sales rep that we can be. And so we've talked about a lot of different things. We've talked about how the inches we need are everywhere. We've talked about how there's no finish line, there's only checkpoints. And you got to learn to enjoy the race and appreciate the checkpoints. We've talked about how you got to make those decisions every day. Am I going to feel good, feel bad, build up, tear down, win, or lose? We've talked about the tortoise and the hare. And I've reminded you guys that this summer, especially, it's not a sprint. Okay. It's how you can show up every day. It's what can you do every day. We've talked about consistency over intensity and how being able to consistently work hard and consistently show up is much more rare of an ability than work really hard and have one big day. There's a lot of people that can have one big day. There's not a lot of people who can have a lot of good days, 100 days in a row, 1,000 days in a row. Okay. It's all about being consistent. We've talked about We've talked about habits a lot. We've talked about how motivation eventually kind of dies out. Okay. I see tons of people make these big motivation boards and, oh, I'm going to work so hard. And everybody always tells me, I'm going to be the hardest worker you've ever seen. And then they get punched in the mouth day one by the objection and the rejection. And, they fall off a horse and they're like, I'm just done. I can't do it anymore. I don't want to do it. I don't care about the money. Anyone who says I don't care about the money, they're lying. Okay. They do care. The job's just gotten hard and they're in their head. We've talked about a lot of these things. Today, I want to briefly talk about what the future can hold if you guys go all in. Okay, for most of you, we have June, we have July, we have August. We have 3 months left. We have 12 weeks. September is going to be an option for a lot of you, and some of you are going to choose to work in September, and that's amazing. Postseason is awesome. Benchmarks still count towards your goals, revenue counts towards your production. You can increase your pay scale, you can hit the benchmark, you can hit the bonus, whatever it is that you're going for. So September's awesome. But for most of you, you have 3 months left to do this job. Now, a lot of you hear that and you're like, oh my gosh, 3 months, that is a long time. Guys, the reality is it goes by fast. This is the week 12 podcast. I've been making these podcasts for 3 months already this summer. Okay. You're at the halfway point for some of you. And again, this second half is for sure going to be better than the first half. Statistically speaking, people sell way more revenue, maybe even 75% of their revenue in the second half of the summer. But you got to recognize it's not a forever thing. You're not going to be out here for 2 more years to hit your goals. You don't have 100 days to hit your goals. You got to have, well, you do have 100 days if you do some September. Um, but you got to have urgency. Okay. You got to have urgency. One a day from here on out is not going to get you to 300K. It's not. You got to have some urgency. You got to work hard. You got to train. You got to make improvements. You got to shift and improve that mentality. You got to show up for work with a killer instinct where you're giving your all, you're giving your best every day. And guys, the crazy part of this job is if you show up consistently and give your all every day for the next 3 months, the world is at your doorstep. Having a conversation with Aiden yesterday, and this is where I wanted some of this training to go from. And we talked a little bit over the last couple of days. We were able to go fishing and do a couple really cool things together, and it was a ton of fun. Aiden is the team leader over Sugarland. He's the divisional manager over San Antonio. He's been one of the fastest growing leaders at Aptiv the last few years. Aiden has had like $1 million in career earnings at Aptiv over his first 3 years here. He's just a stud. Like no way around it. He's a stud. He's 22 years old. He's just he's just doing a lot right. And I'm incredibly proud of him and super grateful for him. And we talked about how if you would have told him, 4 years ago, I remember when I first met Aiden, he flew out for it was a kickoff event or I can't remember what event it was. Maybe our welcome home. But he flew out for one of the Aptiv events, and I met him at the Jazz Arena. We were doing some 3-on-3 basketball, and we talked then. And if you would have told Aiden, 3, 4 years ago when he was standing there before he had ever done any sales, that this is where he would be today, driving a McLaren, leading a big successful team, really confident in his sales ability, owning lots of successful investment properties, and having some good cash in the bank, he would have just been floored. He couldn't see how good the future was, and he hoped that it would be, and he worked for it and obviously put in the time, but he had no idea just how good the future could be after consistent hard work over an extended period of time. I look back at my life. I brought my family out here to Florida with me this week. I've been gone a ton. You guys know this, but I've visited like 15 plus markets this season. And the thing that people don't think about is every one of those markets pretty much requires 2 days of travel. I've been gone a lot this summer. Okay. I think I've been gone more than I've been home. And on the days that I've been home, I'm in the office until 6 or 7 every day. And so I've been gone a lot. And I have 3 little kids, and a lot of our team leaders have kids, and it's a sacrifice that we all make. There's no way around that. It's a sacrifice. Like I miss out on a lot of family activities because I want to work hard and I want to build something and I'm passionate about what we're doing. But what's cool is it also gives me unbelievable experiences and things like that. I'm staying in a really nice house or a really nice hotel in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with my family. It's awesome. I took my kids swimming late last night and it was just one of those like, man, I never knew how great it could be. When we were checking into our motel, before we flew out Saturday night, the lady at the front desk, my daughter, she's like ultra talkative. Her name's Rose. She goes, "We're going to Florida tomorrow, and we're going to be there for a week," and blah blah blah. Just talking her ear off. And the lady's like, "Oh, I've never flown before. That's so cool." My daughter's 5, and she's been to Hawaii 3 times. She's been to Florida now 3 times. Like she's had an awesome life. And the lady's like, "Oh, it's so cool. I've never flown before." And we walk off, and my daughter's like, "Dad, that's not true. She's flown before." I'm like, "No, Rose, that is true. Like most people don't have the life that you have." And I told her, I'm like, "Rose, I didn't fly until I was 14. And then I flew from Salt Lake to Los Angeles one time with my family. And then I didn't fly again until I went on a mission. And then I didn't fly after my mission until I started becoming successful at this job." And it reminded me, it's like, man, you can have everything that you want in life if you work really hard for it, get a little bit of luck behind you, and you do it for a really long period of time. You're not going to be a millionaire after one summer. You're probably not going to be a millionaire after two summers. But if you guys work hard, you're disciplined in your investing, you're disciplined in your spending, you show up and continue to improve. You don't expect to have 5-star results with a 3-star effort. Like you put in the work over a really long period of time. Any of you can become a millionaire from this job. Any of you, even if you're not having the summer that you want. Okay. Even if you're a first year and you're like, man, I'm sucking. If you keep showing up, you keep getting better, you can do it. Okay. It just takes time. Time and effort are the great multiplier and the great equalizer. Time and effort can bring the results that you guys want. If you would have told me 10, 11, 12 years ago that I would be able to do these kinds of things with my family, that I'd be able to invest in real estate, that I'd be able to be financially comfortable and all these cool things, I never would have imagined it. I never would have believed it. I'm so grateful for the disciplined effort that I put in every day. And so I want you guys to think about that. I want you to think about what you want out of the next 5 years, what you want out of the next 10 years, what you want after the summer. All of that is right in front of you. But it takes effort today. It takes effort tomorrow. It takes effort every day for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, for the next 3 months, and even beyond that. Okay. It takes effort. I actually made a reel about this on Instagram this last week. We see, I think it's almost like a little bit of a negative, to be honest. We see all these people on social media and they're buying flashy cars and they're promising you that their course will help you make millions of dollars and they're talking to you about drop shipping and even door-to-door sales. Like door-to-door salesmen are notorious for this. They're flexing their cars and their trips and their, whatever it is that they're flexing. And it's so easy to see the result and think that it just happened. And the reality is, no results happen without grueling amounts of effort. Just effort after effort after effort. When no one is watching, when no one is there to pat you on the back, when no one is there to cheer you on. Guys, the recipe for success is right here in front of you. And it's not sexy, and it's not fast, and it's not flashy. It's going out and doing what Alex Moises has done, banging doors for 3 months already, being at 300K in service revenue. Alex did 2 blitzes before that. He's knocked more doors than anyone else this summer. And as a result, he's at the top. The recipe for success is there. It's starting every day at 10:45 a.m. and finishing at 9 o'clock p.m. and then getting a little training in. The recipe for success is there. And guys, it doesn't taste amazing every day. There are days, even for me, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm exhausted. I get calls at 11 o'clock at night all the time. I was on the phone last week at midnight while my wife and kids were asleep. And, my wife's kind of frustrated because I'm taking a call at midnight and we live in a tiny rental house right now because our house flooded. And sometimes it doesn't taste good. We have team leaders have their wife at home, who have their kids at home. It probably doesn't taste good in that moment. But when the recipe is done, when the food gets made and it's in front of you, you look back, it's always worth it. It's always worth it. Talked about choose your hard before. Talked about making the better error. Okay? This job is hard. But if you choose the right hard, at least it feels good at the end. At least you got what you wanted. You can choose your outcome. You can choose your outcome with this job. And so I think what I want everyone to understand from this, I think what I want everyone to take away is authentically, like, please recognize the opportunity and please go all in. It's not going to happen overnight. Tomorrow, you're not going to wake up and, oh, I'm big balling and I made it. You're never going to feel that way. But you got to appreciate the checkpoints along the way. You got to appreciate the race. You got to enjoy the journey. And you got to keep showing up every single day. Guys, I'm in this with you. I'm going to keep showing up every single day. I'm going to keep pounding the doors. I'm going to keep answering the calls. I'm going to keep doing the recruiting meetings. I'm going to keep working on helping our partnership in any way that I can, visiting the teams, putting out the fires, whatever it is, because I want the best. I want to win. I want to look back in 5 more years and be like, oh my gosh, that was so worth it. We did it. I want to have more incredible experiences with the people I love. And that all comes as a result of hard work. So maybe this wasn't my normal, like, wow, super fired up podcast. But the message is really meaningful to me. You can have everything that you want, but you can't have it all right now. You got to work for it. So please show up. Please make the sacrifices. Please join me in giving a little bit more effort. Please look to the future and recognize it's all right in front of you. You just got to keep working hard. You just got to be smart with the money that you make. You just got to do things the right way. And if you do that, it's all right there. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love making these podcasts. Florida teams, I'm super excited to visit you guys this week. I'll be to St. Louis and Columbus in the coming weeks after that. And we're going to keep getting after it. So God bless everyone. Let's get it. Bye.